Good morning, everybody. It's LSP. It's currently the 30th of May, 2022. So we finally got some action on Bitcoin, which is nice to see. We're going to go a little bit deeper into this, take a look, see what's happening. Is this the start of what could potentially be a move higher? Or are we just kind of going back up to the top end of the consolidation, pretty much going sideways, for the remainder of the week, for example? So with all of that said, before I continue, if you're new to the channel, please like the video, subscribe. There's a lot of good content on here, and it's no BS content. You're not going to get none of this hype nonsense. So with that said, let's go into, we'll do the 4 hour. So we'll start with the 4 hour. And what's interesting, as you guys know, obviously I'll kind of extend this out a little bit. But you guys know that I was discussing, this level up here at 31,000. Top end comes in at 30,887. I'm happy with that. Running into this level in the way that it has, the speed is very, very important. Okay, this wasn't a slow grind to the top end of the consolidation. It was reaching for this liquidity above these highs, which is important. Going forward, we may see some continuation from this because it's an impulse. Okay, it's not just kind of grinding up there, grinding, and then top end of the consolidation, it just reverses and starts to grind back down again and continue going sideways, because this is an impulsive move to the upside and it just starts to slow just as it gets to these highs. There's two things it shows us. Firstly, there's an affinity for Bitcoin to want to go higher, so it started pushing. The slowdown here is signifying that there was liquidity here, which it's now absorbed, right? So if we just go down to the hourly chart just to kind of see how that looks, right? And you can see the slowdown just above these highs. Look, it gets there. It just gets above this high, starts to slow down. Then it accelerates again to go into these highs, starts to slow down again. Now, what we need to see is Bitcoin maintain above 30,000. If it dips lower into this hourly imbalance, we need it to hold, for a continued move to the upside. But if we look at the 4 hour like this a little bit zoomed out, you can see there's plenty of reason and room for Bitcoin, to want to start to drive towards the upside. Going back to the weekly for a second, our whole premise doing this daily grind on Bitcoin, looking at it, monitoring it, trying to figure out what it's doing and so on, is to find that confirmational moment in time where we can say we're really happy with this. I'm confident that it's going to move, probably start to drive towards 36,000 and maybe as high as say 37, 38,000. Have we seen that yet? I don't think so yet, but obviously it's a good start seeing something like this, a pretty decent daily candle and a bit of a ramp up to it as well. And what's interesting as well is that price came down into the liquidity down here. It's obviously picked up buy side liquidity because it ran really quickly to get above these highs, which is again good. If you remember in one of my previous videos, I was saying there is a slight accumulation of buy side liquidity, and it's looking like that is indeed the case with this, impulsive move to the upside. And let's see if we get 32, 34. That should be interesting. If that happens, it's going to put BNB right on cue. We go down to the 4 hour chart. You can see obviously this is the key moment or level where we want to see price get back above 330, hold, and then we're likely to grind towards 340, 350, and potentially 360. Binance has over the last sort of 2 months now shown that relative strength, which is fantastic. This is what we want to see. There's been a little bit of decoupling on from Binance to Bitcoin, which again, it's nice to see. We always maintain the one constant, and that is if Bitcoin takes a real sort of bad turn to the downside, then obviously it's going to drag everything else with it. There's absolutely no question about that at all. But it's still on its own page just a little bit, and it's nice to see. And again, 340 or 330 to 340 is where we want to see Binance kind of driving towards. And it's looking like if Bitcoin does continue, Binance will be up in those levels. In terms of Ethereum is still quite weak, to be honest. It is showing no real signs of wanting to really go, with this very small move from Bitcoin. So there's two ways we can look at this. Is Ethereum showing us the real indication of market sentiment, meaning it's quite weak. It's probably going to end up going lower. This is maybe a dead cat bounce, or maybe just a little bit of movement to the upside, to then continue to the downside? Or is it showing that Ethereum genuinely is weak, and it's just playing catch up with everything else, which it will do at some point if Bitcoin starts to really turn bullish, which I'll say now, I'm not really expecting that at all. But it's just nice to see a little bit of movement to the upside, because it slows everything down and it continues, to give us time. Sorry, excuse me. It continues to give us time to relax into, some of the things that we're looking for. Again, sitting on my hands, keeping powder dry, absolutely not engaging in the markets right now. Confirmation. Without confirmation, I'm really not interested in anything. The other thing, just to be mindful of, and this is very important on Ethereum, okay, all of these lows, okay, have a lot of liquidity below them now, and if price does get below these lows, it is possible that it starts to accelerate into this 1400 level down here. Okay, but again, as always, we're going to be waiting for that confirmation. We're going to be patient. We're going to see. I'll be back in probably 3 or 4 hours. We'll jump on to do the New York market open. I'll probably jump on to do another live session today, if I can get around to it. And with that said, great start to the week. Nice to see on Bitcoin. Let's just drop down to this chart. But yeah, nice to see on Bitcoin. Nice to see the market started the week quite positive. And we'll see if this follows through for the remainder of the week. Remember, guys, confirmation. We absolutely 100% need to see confirmation before we engage in the markets. And with that said, I hope everyone's had a great weekend, and I hope everyone's having an absolutely fantastic day or evening wherever you are in the world. And I will speak to you sometime this afternoon. All the best, guys. Take care and ciao.